Shalom, Kahalar Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily update, all right? And we're going to keep this real short and sweet. Yesterday was a little long, and nobody wants to watch long ones, all right? Anyway, this is Ezekiel 38 and 1. And the word of the Lord came unto me, that's Ezekiel, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy again. This is talking about Russia. And say, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. All right, that means that the state of Russia today is quickly being refashioned back into the old USSR. All right, and they're going to act in that fashion. I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Okay, Persia, that's Iran. Ethiopia, that's down there in Africa. And Libya, Africans. With them, all of them with shield and helmet. Okay? This is talking about their allies. All right? Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee. Okay? Russia and all Russia's allies. And be thou a guard unto them. Okay? All right? Now let's watch this. Where is it? Here. All right, Secret Files Channel 333. An hour ago, war fears. All right? Or war reports, or war rumors of war. Israel and Russia could be at war. All right, what is that? That's the troops being gathered together down in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. So let's watch this.
Israel remains determined to continue pounding Iranian forces in Syria in a bid to keep Tehran's forces away from Israel's northern border.
Okay, so Persia, okay? Israel is fighting with Iran as we speak. And right there, the passage that we just read in the scriptures told Russia to be a guard unto them. Watch the rest of it.
At the same time, Russia has thousands of troops in Syria that could be caught in the crossfire, or even become belligerents if Moscow tires of its Syrian ally being pummeled. OT that Jerusalem or Moscow are eager for such a fight. Neither of us desire a military confrontation, a senior Israel Defense Forces (IDF) official told me during a recent interview in Jerusalem. It would be detrimental to both sides. Yet Israel's policy boils down to this: it will do whatever it sees as necessary to eject Iranian forces from Syria. And if Russia doesn't like it, then that's just the price of ensuring that Syria doesn't become another Iranian rocket base on Israel's border. Relations between Jerusalem and Moscow are far warmer than during the Cold War. The result is a strange embrace reminiscent of the US-Soviet détente of the 1970s. On the surface, a certain friendliness and desire for cooperation. Yet beneath the smiles is wariness, suspicion, and a clash of fundamental interests. No one in Israel is confused about who the Russians are and who they are aligned with, said the IDF official, who spoke on condition of anonymity. The Russians are not our allies, to put it mildly. We have one ally, and that is the United States. The Russians are here for totally different objectives. They are supporting a regime, Syria, that has an outspoken goal of annihilating Israel if it only could. They are also part of a coalition that supports Iran. Just how easily Israeli military operations can trigger an incident became evident during a September 2018 strike on ammunition depots in western Syria. Anti-aircraft missiles launched by Syrian gunners accidentally shot down a Russian Il-20 surveillance aircraft, killing 15 people.
All right, so you can see this thing is just spiraling quickly out of control just by this headline: War fears. Israel and Russia could be at war. That is significant. Who has the most missiles? Russia does. Okay. Now, and what you just heard, Israel said we only have one ally, Babylon the great Satan. Israel is known as the little Satan. Okay. Now let's get this. We'll keep it short and sweet. This is Jeremiah 49. All the way down. Where is it? Right here, Jeremiah 49 and Salakia. Right here, 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom. All right. The people in Israel right now are Edomites. Amalek, the least of the flock. And his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Teman is a city in ancient Edom. Surely the least of the flock of Edom, the least are the Amalekites. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. All right. And here we have the Amalekites drawing out the Russians. Okay. Here we have the Amalekites, right, drawing out the Russians. The Russians are caught down over there in between Iran and Israel in the Middle East, in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Let's get that. We'll go ahead and close out. All right. So you can clearly see that this is taking place. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what the Most High is doing. All right. This is Joel 3 and 12. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. That's what we're watching. All right. Same. This is the same 3 and 12 in different versions. NIV. Let the nations be roused. Let them advance into the valley of Yahweh-Shaphat. Let the nations stir themselves up. Let the nations be called to arms. That means get ready to fight. Salakia. Let the heathen be wakened. Wake up. Time to go to war. Let the nations be stirred to action. Let the nations bestir themselves. Let them be aroused. Let them arise. The nations must get ready and come to the valley of judgment, of the Most High's judgment. Jeho, as in Jehovah, or as in Yahweh, Shaphat, meaning judgment, God's judgment. All right. Let's go back to 2. I will gather, this is God speaking, I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, that's what we see going on. All right. Let's get that again. What's going on?
Israel remains determined to continue pounding Iranian forces in Syria in a bid to keep Tehran's forces away from Israel's northern border.
Okay, so Israel is fighting against Iran. Now it's going to say Russia, because they're in Syria, is in the middle of that thing. And Russia and Iran are allies.
At the same time, Russia has thousands of troops in Syria that could be caught in the crossfire, or even become belligerents if Moscow tires of its Syrian ally being pummeled.
Why is Russia all the way in the middle in Syria, in the middle of the valley of Jehoshaphat? Why? Because God has a mission. I will gather all the armies of the world into the Middle East, which is where the valley of God's judgment. There will I judge them for harming my people. All right? There will I put them on trial for what they did to my people Israel. All right? And I will enter into judgment with them there. All right? And will plead. How do you plead? I plead guilty. All right? So court is in session. All right? And we see this is going on. I will gather all nations. I will gather the armies of the world into Armageddon. All right, so with that, we hope that the elect were edified. Keep your eyes open. All kind of crazy shit going on as we speak. All sorts of distractions. All right, stay focused. Stay on your watch. Stay alert. With that, we can say shalom.